Hello viewers, today we'll be servicing this Lakewood 300 heater. This is a 1320 watts radiant fan forced heater, and unlike some other radiant heaters that I have, this one does have a fan in it. We're not going to do a lot of cleaning on this today. Maybe I'll wipe down the back. I don't know what all that dirt is from, but I primarily just want to oil the fan so that I can use this without having any concerns about the bearings wearing out. It looks to me like this should come apart just by removing these screws on the back, although I have never serviced this thing before, so this will be a learning experience. Okay, the fan is attached to this screw here, so we need to get that off as well. Okay, now we have access to the fan. And this is very surprising to me. Very surprising setup. That this fan does not have any fins on the top of the blade, or another fan up here. I really have no idea how this motor does any cooling. That's really quite surprising to me. Okay, well, I guess it works, but I don't quite understand how. Well, there is another screw under the fan here, and that'll be the other side of the bracket. Okay, that wasn't in the frame, right there. Now let's unscrew that, and that should release the fan completely. Sure, it's kind of rusted. Okay. So here's the fan. It's a nice metal fan. I just don't understand how it cools, how the motor cools. Interestingly enough, this would probably, if this ever were to fail, this would probably be relatively easy to replace. This looks like a pretty standard size those junky bathroom exhaust fans or whatever. The spin down time isn't too bad. There's no play in the bearings, but they don't feel too good as this spins around, and it's certainly making some unhealthy noises. I'm not quite sure exactly how this comes off. I tend to think it probably just pulls off. I'm gonna go get the pullers. Okay, here we go. I got the puller. I don't know if this is going to work too well or not, because the metal is kind of flimsy, but I think this is the best way to start, because if it is not going to work, I can tell before something breaks, because this is a very controlled way to do it. Okay, so I've got some tension on it now, and it looks like it's not really coming up. And this fan looks like it's just made of sheet metal, so it's just going to bend. Oh, actually it is coming up. Okay. It's starting to come. It's just taking a little while. That's fine. most difficult thing here is trying to keep the thing in the middle of the shaft. Alright, there we go. Another good removal with the pullers. Alright, now with that removed, we'll work on the motor. I'm going to remove these two screws here to get the bearings undone. Set that bracket aside, and now I'm actually, you know what, I'm going to put these bolts back on. I'm a little bit too, just being a little too ambitious there. We're going to have to sand down the shaft because the shaft has a lot of rust on it. Oh. We can't really run the fan by itself. Okay. Well, I can see the rear bearing now, so let's just put some oil in there and see what happens. That may be good enough. Because it's by no means locked. It's still spinning pretty freely. Although this rust should be removed anyways. There's nothing good is going to come out of having it there. Oddly enough, this is not a Lakewood branded motor. It's branded Cal Motors Incorporated. I've never heard of that brand before. The motor has freed up nicely, so I think we're just going to leave it at that. At a later time, I could disconnect the element and spin the fan up without the element going and then clean the shaft off, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. I just wanted to get enough oil in it that I'm comfortable using it. And let's do one step further. I'm going to remove the shaft from the rear bearing so that I can drip some oil in the front here like this. Because that's actually where a lot of the friction is transpiring because of the way the motor sits. Excess oil on there. Let's get that off. Don't need oil flying around inside a 700-degree box. Nothing good is going to come out of that. Okay, I think that will suffice. Put this bracket back on. Should sit like registers up at the top. Should sit like that, so this is going to go on like this. I thought these bolts were tied on by these nuts, but I guess they're not. Why do I never have the right size wrench for anything on this bench? Whoever came up with the adjustable wrench is really quite brilliant. Okay, let's get this back into alignment here. I don't like how noisy that is. I don't know. This is not the full service, this is just a brief servicing so that I can run it. I'm going to get some of this hair off of her. Could use a more thorough cleaning, but this will be good enough for now. And the blade actually looks like it has quite a few hours on it. So just quickly dust that off as well. Okay, that'll suffice. And I'll put this back on. I have to underscore again how baffled I am that it doesn't go on like this so that it moves air over the motor. I don't know how this motor doesn't just overheat. There we go, the spin down is much better now. Alright. I'm going to lower this down on the shaft as far as I can. I think it would be better if it's closer to that vent. Okay. And I guess we could turn it on like this so we can see the fan running. I think that would be okay. It starts to scrape the bottom, but I don't think it's going to do that. Actually, it's moving quite a bit of air. Perhaps that circulation is enough to yeah, it is moving air on the motor, I guess. Okay, now it makes sense. Not bad. Okay, let's give it a test run. I'll try to keep it over here like this so that we can turn it like that and see the fan pretty easily. It sounds much better than it did before. I already feel the heat pouring out of this thing. This is really a great heater. This is probably one of the best heaters I have. It's moving, not a lot of air, but there's definitely air moving. Alright, I'm happy with that. I think this is ready to use for now. Someday we'll do a better service and cleaning on this, but for now this will do.